All right, once you've let your mug handle sit for a little bit on the green cup, you're going to have it start to stand up on its own. So I pull it off of my cup here, put my other handles to the side, and it's already sort of curving in this sort of rainbow shape. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look at my mug here and start to look at, okay, if I were to put this handle on this mug, what sort of shape would I need? And if it's not quite right, like this handle I think would be too big. So, cut it off a little bit and test it out. If you have a handle that you know that you're really going to like and you know that you want to use, make 2 of them, because there's a pretty high chance that something might go wrong with the first one, but then you have a backup. So if that's what I want, then I'm going to set it that way here on my tray. It might need to be held up a little. So what you can do, and what I do, is sometimes I ball a piece of clay up and put it underneath my handle, just to let it, give it some support here. There we go. And that's what all these handles are doing. Once it gets in this sort of rainbow shape, you're gonna have to keep a pretty close eye on it, because it will start to break if you're not careful with it. So you've made your handle, you have let it dry over a cup, and then you have also let it air dry a little bit without the support of the cup, like all of these. So it's able to stand up all by itself, like the one you can see on my tray here. Now, the next step is going to be to actually attach your handle. So I have my handle here, and I have it cut at angles that will provide me with the most amount of surface area to go onto my mug. I have also gone through and I've lined it up, here and down here. So I know, how big I want my mug to be. I know my handle. I've got it all kind of laid out here. So now I just have to figure out where I'm going to put my handle. I think I want to put it here. It's like a little tiny bit more like curvy, and I want to be able to put my hand around that. So the first thing I'm going to do with my mug is I'm going to take my needle tool, and I want to get it ready first. Where's my needle tool? Oh, here it is. I'm going to take my needle tool, and I'm carefully handling my handle. Making sure I've got kind of the right side here. And I'm lining it up. I'm lining it up with the correct spot. And I'm putting a mark on either side. And I'm checking it, making sure that it's straight from the side. So I want a straight line. All right, so I'm marking here where I need to slip and score. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to score my mug here. And I'm going to score mine really well. You want your mug handles to really stick. So I want to do a really good job scoring my mug handles. And then I'm going to add some slip. So I can add water. I can also make slip. For right now, I'm going to add water, and then I'm also going to add some vinegar. Now, if you have vinegar at home, I suggest using vinegar when you're attaching your handles instead of water. And what vinegar does is it's like an extra sticky glue. So if I'm attaching a handle, I really don't want the handle to come off. It's not something that you can just kind of stick back on and call it a day. And so if you can use the strongest thing to glue it, that works the best. So this is just a little bit of vinegar, put in a separate cup, and I'm painting the vinegar on, and then I'm also gonna like squirt just a tad more so that the vinegar really gets into where it's supposed to be. Then I'm gonna score my mug handle here. Put a little bit of vinegar. I don't want to make it too slippy. I want it to stick nicely. Just gonna fix any little imperfections here with my handle before I put it on there. If your handle starts to crack on the surface, just smooth it out. Okay, now I'm going to start to attach my handle, and it looks like I might need to score a little bit up here. Looks like that's going to touch a little more. Anywhere your handle is touching your mug, you want to slip and score there. You want the most amount of contacts and contact surface with your mug as possible. So I'm sticking it here. I can see the slip come out of that joint. I'm also checking, making sure that it's nice and straight before I start sticking my bottom. And I can see slip kind of coming all the way out. I'm checking it one last time, making sure it's straight, taking any areas that are cracking a little bit. So at the top here it's cracking a little, and kind of reinforcing that. And I'm just gently pressing it in. And then I can do a little work with my handle. If I need to do a little shaping and whatnot, I can do that. All right. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start blending. So you don't have to blend your whole handle the whole way into your cup, but you really should blend two spots, and that's the inside here. So I'm blending it down here, and then I'm going to pick up my mug. So you should have unattached your mug by now. I'm going to pick up my mug and see. If I hadn't picked it up, I wouldn't have seen that. There's some spot here, a spot here that's not fully attached, so I just need to fully attach it there and make sure it's going to stick. I'm going to use my fingers to blend it out. And if you need to use your modeling tool, get any sort of gunk out that you don't want. And we put handles on before we start any of our major decoration, because handles need to dry with your mug and they need to be super strong. So I've got a little bit more blending to do with my mug here. I can take my paintbrush and I can smooth out some of my joints. But I'm gonna blend over here too, because I really want that to be the most strong handle. I want it to be super strong in multiple spots. So I'm gonna use a variety of tools. If you've got at home, if you've got any pokers for kebabs, they work really well to do some blending. So if you're at the grocery store and you want to pick some up, they work really well. So I'm going to blend these in here. I want to create it nice and consistent. And if you're feeling like it's really weak under here, you can always roll some newer clay and slip and score it to create a little bit more consistency. And then I'm just going to clean up the area around here. So I can use my ribs here to do some additional cleaning up. Now, as you're letting your mug and your handle dry, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to ball up some extra clay and just stick it under your handle to support it while it dries and hardens to your mug. I would do that, and then as you store your mug, make sure I would spray your actual mug because it's probably harder. And then you can spray down your handle. You want to keep them in the same consistent state. And then you're going to want to wrap them really nicely together while they dry.